What's up everybody, it's your boy Grim here, and yes everybody, we are going to be reacting to this video. I thought it looked interesting. It's about RuneScape when it was in like prime 2005-2006 when Barrows basically released. So with that being said everybody, let's go ahead and react to this.
War Thunder is today's sponsor. Barrows is widely regarded as one of RuneScape's perfect updates, but on launch, it was the exact opposite. Let's explore why Barrows and its rewards were some of the most hated.
Hold on, before I jump in to the reaction, I just want to say everybody, the reason why this particular video is intriguing me because I'm at Barrows currently on my hardcore Iron Man, and with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on.
Hated content for many of the game's players, especially its wealthiest ones, and the simple fix that made it perfect. Our story begins all the way back in 2005.
2005 seems like it was such a long time ago. I was like 15 years old, everybody. That was a long time ago.
Is just about to release an update that they teased over a year ago, the Barrows minigame. Deep in the swamps of Mauritania is a gravesite where 6 ancient warriors, the Barrows brothers, are resting. Digging into each gravesite with a spade allows you to break into their tombs and defeat 5 of them, until you come across one tomb that, instead of having a brother, has a secret entrance. If you enter it,
I don't know about you guys, but I personally love the idea behind Barrows. I love its uniqueness of the minigame, and honestly everybody, it's pretty solid.
You're placed into a maze of tunnels where you'll encounter the final brother. In the center of this maze is a reward chest, which you can open to obtain armor pieces from the brothers you've defeated. This armor would become the new best gear in the game and could make you rich, assuming you could put your morals aside.
Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
Today, Barrows is seen as a relatively easy challenge.
On that note, I will admit Barrows is relatively easy just with all of the new recent updates, especially like the elemental wind blast and anything you use air spells against it. Yeah, you're definitely gonna smack some Barrows nowadays.
Baby's first boss type content, but you'll soon see that on release, Barrows was the game's hardest and most punishing content yet.
Okay, I just want to pause here and just say this. From where the game used to be in 2005 up until now, the game has evolved so much. Now, like, the hardest thing is, like, the Inferno, like, come on, guys.
Is Billy. He's been playing RuneScape for a while. He's a member, has around 80 combat,
oh my gosh,
and
I
knows
remember
a fair
this
bit
year.
about the game. So, Barrows releases, Billy gears up in his best equipment for all 3 combat styles, fills up his inventory with food and a few prayer potions, and is on his way to Barrows. For most players,
the magnificent Barrows, everybody. Can you imagine it would take, on how long it would take to actually go from Canopus to
area
Barrows?
would be Canopus. Now, Billy doesn't have an ectophile, fairy rings don't exist yet, and he doesn't have access to the Canopus teleport on the ancient spellbook. To get that, he'd need to complete the Desert Treasure quest, a quest that back in the day would be considered endgame extremely difficult content. So, for Billy and most other players, his journey would begin by walking to Canopus from East Varrock Bank.
Just imagine walking from Varrock all the way to Canopus to supply up, and then walking all the way to your Barrows brother. That's kind of a long walk.
So he gets to Canopus, takes the underground shortcut behind the bar, and is placed halfway through the swamps of Mauritania. As he continues south, ghasts begin attacking him, and by the time he makes it to the swamp boaty and out of the swamp, half of his food has been rotted by the ghasts. A minute or 2 of walking, and he finally makes it to Barrows. And he forgot his spade.
On a side note, when he said, "I forgot my spade," I find it hilarious that I would do this all too often. I wish they added this update with the spade in the shed in the very beginning. it was only a matter of time before they actually did.
He could just grab one from this little house in front of Barrows, but that didn't actually exist yet. So it's back to Varrock to repeat the whole process. So this time, Billy doesn't forget his spade, he kills a few brothers, and is doing pretty good. But then he gets to Darrock. He runs out of prayer points mid-fight.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, Darrock sucks. I almost lost to Darrock a few times on my hardcore.
Because they're periodically drained whenever you're inside the tombs, and his protect from melee prayer drops. But he figures, I can finish off Darrock with just food, it'll be fine.
Unfortunately, buddy, for you, Billy, no, you cannot. You need your prayer for Darrock. I learned that the hard way, everybody.
But he doesn't know that the lower health Darrock is, the higher he hits. So Billy gets hit a 57 and is smacked back to Lumbridge.
47.
Since it's 2005, his items aren't sent to a gravestone where he...
This is actually kind of crazy. Like, in my mind, I still feel like the items are on the ground, because if you guys remember, for those of you who played like back in the day, like some of your items would like just drop on the ground, but nowadays that you have like this coffin, which is kind of interesting concept. It doesn't make the game as dangerous as it used to be, but hey, that's my own hot take on it.
Can collect them later. They appear on the ground instantly for anyone to see and steal. Just like that, Billy...
I totally remember that. That's how a lot of people used to get lured. That's what made RuneScape so fun back in the day, that like you can lure people, get their stuff. I mean, granted that I never lured anybody, I'm just saying in general, the game felt more real back then. It had more magic to it, if that makes any sense.
He has lost pretty much all of his gear and has to start grinding to get it back. While he does that, let's talk about today's sponsor, War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made.
We're gonna go ahead.
Is available for free.
Alright guys, I don't want to say we're gonna go ahead and run the ad. Why not?
On PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations. Designs range from the biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to the fighter jets and main battle tanks of today. Best of all, they're incredibly detailed, the graphics are realistic, and the sound effects are authentic too. Plus, my favorite part is that the game is so optimized that even those of you with lower end machines can play too. As long as it's not an actual potato, it'll probably work. Join a worldwide community of over 70 million players in epic, breathtaking PvP battles. There's an absolute wealth of high-quality content to discover, and there's no game better suited for fans of military history. Sign up with the link in my pinned comment or description to get a massive bonus pack available across all platforms for new and returning players that haven't played for at least 6 months. For a limited time only, get 100,000 Silver Lions, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 7 days of premium account time, and so much more. Billy got bored of trying to get his...
Okay, real quick, that was a extremely long ad.
Gear back, and he wants to try a strategy one of his friends told him about, using a cannon. So, with slightly worse gear and a cannon, he makes his...
Apparently, people still use the cannon technique in today's era of RuneScape. I personally never seen it, but hey, let's see where this goes.
His way back to Barrows. He puts down the cannon in one of the crypts, wakes up a brother, and runs behind a coffin so it can't attack him. This takes an incredibly long time, but was a popular strategy for lower level players back then.
That is an extremely slow way to kill the brother. That's just how I feel.
And is occasionally still seen today. So Billy kills 5 of the brothers and clicks on the tomb that has a hidden tunnel. He enters and has no idea where to go. Most of the doors are locked and his mini-map is...
I just want to say this is what makes RuneLite so optimal, the fact that you can actually see what kind of door goes into the next door. I don't know about you guys, but I personally can never have made it without RuneLite.
disabled. He finally makes it to the proper door, solves the puzzle, and opens the chest, and is rewarded for his efforts with a Guthan's helm, one of the brothers' equipment. He sells it to someone in Falador Park for a whopping 10 million.
Oh my gosh, I remember Falador Park, and honestly, everybody, one thing that I love about the old version of RuneScape was the fact that when you got an available item, that you could jack up the price because nobody actually didn't know what kind of value they actually were back then.
In gold, because prices are crazy on the first day, and forgets all about the gear he lost. But you may be thinking, where was the sixth brother? No sixth brother ever appeared when he was going through the hidden tunnel maze. Well, today, the last brother will randomly appear when you're going through a door in the maze, or if that doesn't happen, he's guaranteed to appear when you try to open the chest. But for the first 5 months of Barrows, you'd only encounter the last brother randomly through doors, meaning if you wanted to fight all 6, you'd have to spam a door over and over again until the last one appeared. This wasn't the only clunky mechanic that existed back then either. You used to be able to use your friends as a safe spot. If you had a friend,
Man, I'm just saying right now, everybody, I wish I could use friends at the same spot. That would be kind of cool.
stand between you and the brother you were fighting while you used a magic or ranged attack, the brother would just sit there until it died. Clunky mechanics aside, it's still for the most part the same Barrows that we know and love today. So what made it so hated back?
And that maybe that's one thing that I really grasp about enjoying Barrows so much as of right now, even though I'm going through the Barrows grind currently. It's just so nostalgic to me. I know that's a cliche word to use, but man, guys, nostalgia is real with Barrows, at least in my opinion.
In 2005, let me introduce you to the Dragon Chain Body. Back in 2005, this was the most coveted item in the game. To give you an idea of how in demand it was, it sold for anywhere from 30 to 40 million GP.
30 to 40 million GP was so much back then, guys. It really was. Like, it was enormous on how pricey Dragon Chain Body was. I still remember, I was never gonna get one.
The most expensive party hat back then capped out at around 9 million. This is because of one of 2 factors. First, it's fairly rare. You can receive one as a drop from the Cowfight Queen at a rate of 1 in 128 kills, but getting even 1 kill back then was incredibly difficult, as she was the hardest boss in the game at the time. Killing her by yourself was absolutely unheard of too, so you'd need a few friends that you could trust not to scam you out of your split if they got the drop. Or if you're really...
Just imagine trying and hoping that nobody would scam you while you're playing this, and then you just automatically get a drop and then someone scams you. That would be horrible, guys. But anyways, continue on.
Really patient, you can kill Dust Devils for a chance at receiving one at the absolutely insane rate of 1 in 32,760.
Holy moly, 1 in 32,70,68. That's insane.
Kills. Second, it was a huge upgrade over the next best thing, the Rune Plate Body. And actually, let's add a third point. It looks really cool. The Dragon...
Yeah, I would have to say that the Rune Chain Body and the Dragon Chain Body, or the Rune Plate Body and the Rune Chain Body, definitely go with the Dragon Chain Body over the Rune Plate Body, in my opinion.
Chain Body is one of the most nostalgic items in the game for me, and I was rocking this thing all the time back when Old School first started up. Anyway, pretty much every chest piece of Melee Barrows equipment massively overshadows the Dragon Chain Body. Although you need 10 more defense levels in order to wear them, they were much less rare and didn't require a group to obtain. But perhaps the most striking feature of all is, unlike today, they didn't degrade. Today, you can wear a piece of Barrows equipment for about 15 hours worth of combat before it breaks and you need to repair it. On launch, however, you could wear it as long as you wanted and you would never have to repair it. This probably doesn't come as much of a surprise, but players were kind of pissed, especially...
Yeah, I would definitely be pissed if there was a newer method. Say you just fish lobbies for months to get your 40 mil GP that you need to buy the Dragon Chain Body, and then you just end up getting outplayed with Barrows. I can see why everybody was getting upset in that moment.
Especially those that had spent the massive amount of time or money obtaining a dragon chain body. The chain body
What I was just talking about right there.
began crashing just hours after the update launched,
And can you imagine if you were one of those players back in the day when the dragon chain body was crashing? Oh, I would have been so pissed if I bought it at the highest margin.
Barrow's equipment, despite being brand new and outrageously priced, was still seen as a great deal compared to forking out the insane cost for
Oh yeah, for sure. Barrows was rocking it back then in a day.
a dragon chain. As you might expect, RuneScape's forums were soon lit up with complaints about everything I just discussed. Jagex knew pretty much immediately that this time the players were actually right. Barrow's equipment
About time something the player base did for the game, for the community, instead of having Jagex just control everything.
was too powerful for how much easier it was to obtain and how much cheaper it was, especially if you consider the set effects. You know how I mentioned earlier how the lower Darok's health gets, the amount of damage he does also increases? Well, the same effect applies to his armor. If you wear a full set of Darok's equipment, have the other best in slot items for the time, drink a super strength potion, and are on 1 health, you can hit a whopping 68. Not even the Cowfight Queen can hit that high. Players had genuinely never seen numbers like this before. Plus, by the end of the first week, the entire set costs less than a dragon chain.
10 mil versus 30 mil, everybody. Can you imagine like the scenery in RuneScape back in the Barrows update release?
Body. Every set has their own different effects. I won't cover all of them, but most of them are pretty useful. Not you, but not even including their effects, they were all now the new best armor in the game for every combat style, and nothing else came even close. So on the same day that Barrows released, Jagex would put out a pretty unique news post. They warned players that they would possibly be making some balancing tweaks to the Barrows armor, and recommended anyone interested in buying them from another player to hold off. If they nerfed the armor into the ground, it would crash pretty hard, and they'd have a whole new angry mob.
This is one thing I appreciated Jagex back in the day, letting their community know about the crashes and what was going on. Like, well played by Jagex.
On their hands. So they took an approach that had never been done before in RuneScape. A week passed and the rebalancing changes went live, but to players' surprise, every item's stats remained exactly the same. Instead, now the armor would slowly degrade while being used in combat. The stats stay the same while degrading, but after about 15 hours of use, the armor will break and will need to be repaired. It
Talk about getting nerfed, my butt.
was a simple change, but it not only stabilized the dragon chain body and other items in a similar position, but kept them relevant too. Many players would choose to save their Barrows equipment for more high-stakes scenarios, like bossing or PvP, and would use lower tier gear for minigames and Slayer. It was a genius solution.
Imagine getting Barrows and then going to PK and just losing it all in an instant, like back in the day. That must have been like soul breaking.
That instantly took care of the public's biggest concerns with the update. That change, along with a few minor tweaks, are now why many see Barrows as a perfect update, and really one of the best updates ever made to RuneScape. Don't forget to check out War Thunder in the description below to get them.
Alright guys, that does conclude the reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The video will be linked in the description down below. If you guys enjoyed my reaction to the release, the Barrows release, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to see more RuneScape related reactions, please like I said, just comment, like, and subscribe. Also keep in mind guys, I do have Kick channel. I go live almost every single day. If you guys want to go follow me over there, then please do so. With that being said, everybody, my name is Graham, and I'll see you guys next time.